Hello, this is Maria Morales for FanSide MMA, and today I am joined by the LFA bantamweight, Justin Wetzell. Justin, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, it's good to be here. What's going on?
Nothing much, nothing much. I think that's the question for you, right? After the performances that you've been putting on in the LFA, I think there's one question on everybody's mind, which is when do you think you will have done enough to get that call from the UFC?
Well, that is the question, right? What else do I got to do? That's kind of what I've been saying. And this fight with Asker was, someone that had already been signed. And, just no disrespect to him, but it wasn't even close. I blew him out
It
of the
wasn't.
water. And I think I'm next in line, right? For a short notice opportunity or something. I haven't heard anything officially from
Okay.
anyone. I haven't received any phone calls or anything, but I'm going to be staying ready and keep my weight down so that way if opportunity opens up, I'm going to be able to be there to take it.
Yeah, I mean, and what's in the last 2 3 weeks, we've seen a ton of guys and ladies from the LFA, getting in on those short notice opportunities and actually making a splash in their debuts. So,
Yeah.
it would seem to me that it only makes sense that if somebody in the bantamweight division is sick and can't make it, that you get that phone call.
Oh man, I hope you're right. I hope it's me.
Ask you because it has to be nerve wracking, right? Like always wondering, did I do enough this time? Did I do enough this time? And, talk to me because I mean, you're obviously with a great camp at Elevation. How do you continue to like not let the frustration of the situation like get to you? Like, are your coaches talking to you about it? How do you work through that?
That's actually a really good question because it is extremely frustrating too, especially when you're like, kind of in the minor league still of MMA where you're fighting for peanuts. It probably costs you more money to fight than actually the fight itself. So, um, how to deal with that? I think it's you have to find a way to harness that like that frustration and the energy of that frustration into your training and into everything you do to become a better fighter. Um, I mean, you saw like my outburst of like kind of emotion at the end of the fight, and
Absolutely.
that was kind of a culmination of all of that, and it paying off there.
Yeah, I mean, and especially considering anybody that's been watching you shouldn't have been surprised by that performance. But I think that a lot of people were, right? Because again, you had this guy that had signed to the UFC and Askar, and then didn't fight and came back. And, he was kind of the story, so to speak,
Yeah,
of the event. And you kind of came to stole the show.
I knew I could, and I knew I would because I had seen him fight. I've seen a lot of the people he's fought before, and I know his style, and I thought it matched up really well. And it was a perfect time, as you said. There was a guy that he'd already main evented in LFA, kind of had the story behind him, and I knew I could steal all that from him. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I did, or at least I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I can only speak for myself. You definitely did because I know a lot of us were like, "Oh my gosh, what just happened?" It was
Yeah.
fantastic. But, again, you said that you kind of have to work through that frustration, in your preparation. But your elevation, you were working with top-notch coaches and other fighters. Are any of them kind of giving you tips on how to get ready for when that phone call does come through?
Uh, Getting ready for the phone call, not necessarily, but I've honestly been getting ready for that phone call since that's why I moved out here, and being surrounded by all these guys, I truly believe it's just a matter of time until it happens. And no, there really hasn't been anyone or any specific preparations, but being surrounded by people, being around people that have, start like when I moved here that were in the minor leagues and got the call to Bellator to the UFC. It just has me ready for it, and I'm not sure. It's something that I am ready for though.
Absolutely. And for you at this point, is there only one phone call that you're waiting for? Or is it a situation where if the call comes from, let's say, Bellator instead of the UFC, would you take that call?
That's a tough question because I do like Bellator a lot, and I think if they were offering similar terms to what the UFC were to offer, it would be very hard to say no. The thing I have with Bellator is, well, I guess actually more so with the UFC is more. you're more of your career in the UFC is had in your early 20s,
Hmm.
early or late 20s, early 30s. And they're not as prone to hire, 33, 35-year olds, whereas Bellator is, they have
Right.
35 plus year olds on contract. So in a perfect world, ideally I would prefer the UFC. And then, if I left that promotion, I could finish out in another major league promotion like Bellator. That would be, in a perfect world ideal.
Absolutely.
But to your original question, I think it would be hard to say no to, a Bellator contract.
Awesome. So let's switch gears a little bit because we're sitting here
Yeah.
talking about all of this all of this MMA stuff, but you interestingly, unlike a lot of fighters, made sure that in your social media handles, people get to know a little bit about who you are outside of the cage. So talk to me a little bit about being this nerd that is coming in repping Vegeta every chance that he gets. What's that about?
Yeah, it just I'm not the hugest like anime geek. I can't go too deep down the well in it, but growing up as a kid, I remember always like getting on my mom. We got to get home at like 4:30 to watch Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu
Mhm.
Hakusho, all that stuff, and it's just something that really like resonated with me. And I wouldn't say that's exactly what got me into fighting, but it was definitely an aspect of fighting that I really like enjoyed early on. And I know a lot of people, like on all levels, whether like you're, I don't know, just all levels, people like in our generation, like Dragon Ball Z. And I thought that was like a good opportunity to like, capture an audience, gain some fans. And it really paid off too. The first time I wore it out there, I had like tons of kids, tons of other people just hit me up. Like, that was awesome. I love that scouter. So just a way to like garner attention, gain some fans along the way. And it kind of like just tell a story a little bit, get people to ask some
Absolutely.
questions.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Because all of those characters between Vegeta, Goku, Gohan, all of them, everybody is just trying to get to the next best version of themselves.
Yeah.
So I think it's appropriate as a fighter that, that's kind of the thing that you're coming out to. But tell me, what do you need to do to get to the next best version of Justin Wetzel?
I need to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm not going to give away too much, but in the past, probably like 2 or 3 months, I've made a couple changes, training with some different people, some new looks, and I'm not even close really to my full potential. I'm only going to keep getting better and keep working with the people I've been working with. Um, like I said, I've only been working with these people now for like a few months now, and a lot of that paid off in the fight. And like for instance, in this fight, like I finished him with ground and pound stuff, but I actually finished this guy off with kicks. Like I kicked him in the
Mhm.
liver really good, and you couldn't see it too well in the fight, but like he kind of hunched and curled, and that was the beginning of the end. And just some little techniques and little things like that that I've been picking up
Well, I
on.
mean, you could hear it though. That was the thing.
Oh
You
yeah,
didn't really get to see it, but the audio was good enough that you heard the thud, and it was just like,
yeah,
ooh, you already know what
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I don't want to give a generic answer like stay in the course, but
Yeah,
keeping just staying with what I'm doing right now, like, and just continuing to believe in the system I'm around, and the people I'm around, and to the top.
absolutely. I mean, listen, you're going to keep it up, and next thing you know, you're going to have to switch from just coming out with the searcher to coming out with the blue wig to let us know that you've evolved to that next form, right? You just got to keep it going.
Gotta keep it going, keep the evolution going.
There it is. Well, Justin, thank you. Well, one more question for you before I let you go, and I promised you that I wouldn't keep you too long because I know it's late.
Oh, you're good.
As it stands right now, it doesn't look like you have anything lined up in the immediate for LFA either. So, how soon? I mean, obviously, if something short notice fight comes from the UFC, you'll take it. But if not, how soon can we expect to see you back in the cage at LFA?
Well, I'm not sure because I mean, if you ask any UFC fighter if they want their next fight to be for LFA, they're 100% of them are going to tell you no.
Right.
And
Right.
LFA has helped get me ready for the big stage. Um, it's been great, like going to different places and stuff. But I've been at this now for like 10 years since I was 18, right out of high school. I don't want to fight other UFC level people in the minor leagues for $1,000 anymore. I've moved across country for this. I don't want to say that I'm holding out and I'm just going to wait for that phone call, but it's time for me to fight in the big leagues. And I can't say when you'd expect me, but I'm gonna stay ready for a fight in the UFC, and hopefully sooner rather than later because I'm trying to stay active. I'm trying to get a few more fights in while I'm 29. This is my final year being in my 20s. I
Yeah,
want to be active. I want to stay after. And the thing is with LFA, it's very very high risk. It's you're fighting other tough top tier
right,
competition that's ready for the UFC, and this game is cutthroat as fuck. If you lose, backwards 6 months at least. And
right.
someone in my position at my age, I'm almost 30 now. I'm ready. I'm ready for the big leagues.
Yeah, I can completely understand. It's just not a risk at this point. That for you makes a lot of sense. And listen, like I said when we first started, based on what I've seen, it certainly seems like you've done enough. So, with that, we will let you go. Thank you so much. And we hope that the next time we see you is stepping into the octagon at UFC.
Man, I hope so. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Everyone, Justin Wetzell.
See ya.